It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just just stop.
The left's favorite internet celebrity is facing allegations of abusing his dog on camera, but everybody's missing a massive point here. We're going to break this down and so much more on today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, where I break down the craziest stuff from the internet and social media, all from an independent perspective. And by the way, guys, I am on the road today. We're back in Michigan for a wedding, so we're back at the old house. And yeah, I'm just going to bring you a normal show like usual, but obviously not in my typical setup, but still want to talk with y'all. And there's actually so much unhinged stuff. So we're going to lose some brain cells together. And the first topic we have to talk about is the left-wing streamer Hasan Piker, who is facing some pretty serious backlash right now. Honestly, perhaps the most widespread condemnation I've seen from his own crowd, right? Like even left-leaning liberals and streamers and progressives are very upset with him, many of them, because of an incident that happened on his live stream a couple of days ago, where it appears from the footage, hard to say exactly when we'll get into the details, he is denying this, that he presses a button to shock his dog, Kaya, as if she is wearing a shock collar to keep her in place on her mat that she's supposed to sit in for hours and hours on end during his live streams, almost as if she is a prop. Here is the initial footage of him rambling, and then Kaya disrupts him by daring to step up or step away from the mat and not be a good prop, and he reaches forward and appears to press something. She then yelps in pain. Here is that footage.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just, you're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom. No, she doesn't want to come over here to see what's up. She just wants to roam the house because she got to roam the house when I was gone. And she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented.
So you can hear the dog yelp in pain. We'll explore why that happened or why it didn't happen. But people were pretty upset with Hasan because everyone says this looks like he's using a shock collar on a pretty high setting, by the way, not even just like a light shock, because she yelps audibly, to train his dog. And she hadn't even done anything wrong. She just got up out of the position that she was in behind him, where I guess he wants her to sit all day while he streams for like 8 hours or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, though, he, of course, in the spirit of fairness, I should point out that he is denying it. And I'll play the clip of him offering an alternative explanation in a little bit. I did want to read you guys this funny tweet, though, from some lefty on X, where they say, she clips her paw. It's very obvious. We have different definitions of very obvious. But anyway, here's the funny part. And imagine, I can't even read this with a straight face. You are willfully dumber than a dog if you choose to believe this, that it was a shock collar, and you care more about imagining the suffering of a single animal than millions of Palestinians. Ma'am, literally, who said anything about Palestinians? Like, you did the meme. It reminded me of this tweet I saw a long time ago from this kind of center-left guy, Noah Smith. Protester punches baby in the head. Normal person, hey, you can't just punch babies in the head. Protester, okay, I think we can all agree that what's happening in Palestine right now is a lot more important than this one baby getting punched in the head. It just made me laugh because she literally did the meme. She's like bringing up Palestine to, like, what about that even has anything to do with this? Say that he did, and I'm stressing, guys, he denies this. Say that he did shock his dog on camera, on stream. You're just going to say, well, what's happening in Palestine is worse. So what, we can't talk about anything ever because there's always something worse happening? That actually kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with a couple lived out radio host the other day. Posted that on my bonus channel, I think called Brad Polumbo Highlights, if you want to go take a look. But we were talking about transitioning kids, and I was explaining why I'm against it, and they just kept bringing up, well, like, what about gun violence or other things? And it's like, yeah, I acknowledge there are bigger problems in the world. Doesn't make this not bad. Like, there's just such a weird deflection that these types pull all the time. Now, we're going to take a look at Hasan's initial denial, where he says that it wasn't a shock collar. First, though, make sure you subscribe, do hit the like button, comment, yada, yada, yada. Now, let's listen to Hasan. I think it was the same day it kept getting brought up because this was going viral while he was still streaming, and he initially responds this way. Take a look.
To hear oral arguments on Thursday.
Oh my
we should
God.
note that new CBS.
Is there like a LSF video or something? Is that why there's like hella people coming in here and screeching? Is that what's going on? Oh, classic. It started on D, then H3, then LSF is the classic pipeline. I'm gonna die, dude. Yes, I am incredibly abusive to the not only best trained, but also the best behaving and most spoiled dog on the planet. Is from when Kaya yelped. Yeah, she yelped because she clipped herself on something when she was getting off the bed.
So here's the thing that stood out to me about this. A couple things did, actually. But like, if I was on stream with Reggie, may he rest in peace, and somebody was like, oh my God, you shock your dog, or you use a shock collar, I would pick Reggie up, take off his collar, and show it to the camera and be like, this is not a shock collar. I don't know what you're yapping about. Like, what are you talking about? That's not real. Notable that he didn't do that, right? And then his explanation is that Kaya simply caught herself and yelped. I don't find that impossible, but even then I find like, okay, you didn't exactly check on her. You didn't seem very concerned that your dog was in pain, or was your stream more important than that? So a couple tweets here I want to read. One is from I don't even know how to categorize her, the YouTuber Shoe on Head. Wild how the most good faith interpretation of the Hasan thing is that he didn't really use a shock collar on his dog. He just got weirdly angry at his dog for briefly stepping off the little square he makes her sit on for 4+ hours while he live streams. Exactly. Another person pointed out on X, if his dog yelped like that by a self-inflicted injury and he didn't stop streaming to check on her, that makes him an even bigger sociopath than if he did it himself. I don't know about that, but it's certainly a valid point that he should have checked on her. Now, Dan Saltman, who's a very prominent Hasan hater, just context there, said yesterday during his stream, Hasan had the chance to very easily bring over the dog and show that there was no shock collar on it. That's all it would take to end the drama, and any normal person would immediately do that to stop the drama. Anything he shows now is fabricated. So, look, I should say this. I really don't know either way. I think he probably does have a shock collar, and I think he probably did shock the dog. I think he uses her as a prop. But I have to be honest with you guys when I know something and when I don't, because I think it's reckless when people speculate and present it as facts. I don't know. It is possible that he is telling the truth and it is not a shock collar. As I will get to, I think there's a bigger point here that everyone is missing. But there's a little bit more evidence suggesting that maybe something here did go on. One, here's a clip from when a guest recently visited him and pointed out how tight Kaya's collar was. He not only seemed unbothered, but he seemed to almost want to say something about the collar, then stop. Listen to this.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Well, it's here we can.
You have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get one. I think you're choking her.
She's like, it's she has a lot of neck meat.
There's also footage of him where he admits to owning a shock collar, by the way. Listen to this.
My old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for Fish and his dogs. For Fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought it. They are incredibly effective.
And then you have to go several years back for this one, and it's old, but I'm not going to show it because I actually just think it's horrible. He's on footage pulling the tail of his old dog when the dog was misbehaving, which is a big no-no. You don't do that. You don't pull a dog's tail. That's like very messed up. But what has happened since, guys? He shows the collar on stream the next day. He didn't do it the day of. He didn't just do it in the moment. This is notable. He holds it up and he says, it's not a shock collar. It's a vibration collar. So wait a second. This doesn't add up because he told us she got caught. So was he lying then? He did buzz her, but it's just a vibration collar, which is a thing. There is such a thing as vibration collars. And then he holds it up and he talks about it. And it's descended into like this forensic debate where I'm not kidding you. This is a huge trend and streamers are dissecting it frame by frame. They're looking up the model number. They're trying to like prove he's lying or all of this. My answer is I don't know. I do not know the truth about this. I don't care enough to get down into the granular details of it and try to come up with the truth. I don't trust him. He's already lied in this, or he's already at least been inconsistent in this story so far. And then it's very clear to me that he doesn't treat dogs well, whether it's pulling the dog's tail in the past or making this dog, even if it is just a vibration collar, sit there as a prop. And I think that somebody doesn't treat dogs well is a red flag to me of who they are as a person, or any helpless pet that depends on you. If you mistreat them in any way, that's a serious red flag to me as a person. But the broader point I want to make about this, it's kind of insane that it's come to this. It's kind of insane that like people are now turning against Hasan over this. It wasn't going to be when he said America didn't deserve 9/11. It wasn't when he said a Republican should be murdered on his stream over and over again, right? Like it wasn't any of the times he has explicitly expressed support for designated terror groups, but it was because he appears to allegedly may have, but he denies it, used a shock collar on his dog. Like I find that icky, especially in this context. It's not like you're doing it for safety reasons or something. Like there may be a scenario in which it is appropriate to use a shock collar for a dog. I don't know. I'm not a dog ethicist. I'm not a dog trainer, but I know that this isn't it to keep them sitting there as a prop in the background for your live stream. That is certainly not it. But anyway, it's like crazy to me that this is the thing that is finally getting some people to turn against him, like even liberal content creators. I just think as much as I love dogs, we might have kind of up priorities at this point in this culture and in this country. That's my take on this whole saga. I want to know what you guys think. I want to be, again, clear that I cannot categorically state that he did use a shock collar. I don't know. I think I'm presenting you with evidence. You can make up your own mind what you think happened. But I think even if he didn't, there's levels of dishonesty and mistreatment of dogs here that are a problem. And then more broadly, the fact that anyone is still in his fan base at this point, and he's still so big, guys, you have to understand, he's one of the most listened to people on the internet, is insane to me for all the other reasons that I mentioned. That's my take. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Do make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Hit the like button, yada, yada, yada. Oh, and remember, you can send in your voicemails for our Voicemail Friday episodes where I react to your woke horror stories, give you advice on your personal life scenarios and drama, and answer questions you guys have for me. The voicemail link is the SpeakPipe link in the description. Now, we're going to talk about the Swifties again, or at least some of the Swifties, the woke Swifties. I got a lot of messages from y'all last time I talked about this. I know that there are lots of normal people out there who love Taylor Swift, and it is no shade to y'all. Hashtag not all Swifties. But there is a segment of the Taylor Swift fan base, the woke segment in particular, that is absolutely deranged. And many of them are now on TikTok crashing out over the microaggressions supposedly in one of her songs. So much so that I keep seeing viral video after viral video after viral video on TikTok about this, that I feel like I have to just talk about it more because there's two levels of insanity to the saga. One is it's insane that anyone thinks these are actually microaggressions. Then it's insane that when we say they're not, their response is you're wrong because you're white. I'm not kidding. Like, this is exactly how they are portraying it. and it is genuinely diabolical. So the context here is that the new Taylor Swift song, Eldest Daughter, has some lyrics, and I looked up the full lyrics, but these lyrics include these couple of sentences that people are seizing on. But I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage, is part of the chorus. Now, it comes in the context of the whole song is about how everyone tries to seem unbothered. Like she says that everyone's unbothered till they're not. Sad as it seems, apathy is hot. When you found me, I said I was busy. That was a lie. Anyway, I've been dying from just trying to seem cool. So the point is about how she's like, I'm not actually this bad bitch. I'm not savage. I'm not like cool and unbothered. I actually am, emotional, and I am in love, or I'm not. So many traitors, smooth operators. But she's saying that's not her anymore, if it ever was, I guess. Don't come to me for Taylor Swift lyric interpretations. But what I can tell you is that it is not, in fact, a racist dog whistle because she used the word savage. But that is what TikTokers are saying. Listen to this.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, that song is so microaggressive. It's actually, I felt like I was hate crimed as I was listening to it.
I'm not a bad bitch. I'm not a savage. Was basically the biggest dog whistle / microaggression that can be yelled out right in the song. But some of y'all are sitting on this app doing mental gymnastics trying to say no.
And so now when people are calling out a microaggression in a song, it's not that serious, it's not that deep. But I think that things are that deep. Yes, I am the woke saying, but I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage. I beg of you to actually look into the historical roots of a word like savage.
I love the one who says that we're doing mental gymnastics, or we're stretching to not acknowledge it. No, babe, that's you. You're stretching. We're not the stretching ones here. You're the yoga mat in the room, okay? I'm just babbling. I'm not making any sense because these people make me want to crash out. When Taylor Swift, she says, I'm not savage, or she says this isn't savage, what she's saying is she's referring to the slang use of savage, like, oh, that was savage, or like when somebody roasts someone, you're like, damn, he's savage. It's has nothing to do with like calling black people primal or savages or whatever sort of microaggression, which again, I have to stress to you, is not a real concept. It is not a thing. But even to the extent that it is, qualifying this as a microaggression is absurd because in context, it's not referring to that kind of savage. It's referring to like the brutal, like slay, burn, or like that kind of person who's, savage. It's not referring to like a savage. So it's not even the right use of that word. These people are just, the media literacy, the critical thinking is non-existent among so many of these people. And yet they just influence millions of people online. Now apparently think Taylor Swift, the Kamala lover, by the way, is doing racist dog whistles. It's just terrible. It's just more wannabe victim, pathetic nonsense. It makes absolutely no sense. And it discredits real racism and real accusations of bigotry when you constantly just invoke it so frivolously and throw these terms around like candy on Halloween. At least that's my take as a sane person who doesn't even particularly like Taylor Swift, but just has a couple brain cells left to rub together. But here's the thing. When we push back on this, when all the people like are saying, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. You guys are saying it's a microaggression, that you use the word savage, like get a grip. Their response is, well, you're white, so you're wrong. I'm not even kidding. Listen to this woke Swiftie lecturing us about how we need to listen to black women when they say a microaggression is a microaggression. Actually, I'll go off, but first just watch the video.
Okay, so if a black woman or a person of color is telling you that something is racist, something is microaggressive, something is not sitting with them the right way, that is not the time for you as a white person to open your mouth and say, actually, no. Yes, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. I'm talking about the critique surrounding Taylor Swift. I know we're tired. I know it's been talked about ad nauseum, but I do think this is really important and it's something that we should continue to talk about. So one side of the criticisms about this album are related to stylistic choice, vocals, musical composition, right? People can have their opinions on that. What I want to talk about is the critiques of the lyrics, and specifically the way people are critiquing the racist and microaggressive undertones that are within the lyrics. And a large majority of the people calling that out and noticing that are Black women and people of color. And I am seeing white women like myself commenting back on a lot of those critiques saying, but she didn't mean it in this way. And you're reaching and you're looking too far into it. And it's not racist. Like, how could she be racist when in her music video, she surrounded herself with people of color and she endorsed Kamala Harris for all of these people are making excuses like this for a person that they don't even know. It's so wild to me. When a Black person or a person of color says that something is racist, that is not when we go, hey, actually, no.
I would rather hurl myself into the sun than hang out with her in any setting. Like, you just cannot imagine a more unpleasant type of person than this, like, woke, young Karen TikToker. I don't know, to me at least. These people are my personal Vietnam. Every time I hear them speak, it gives me AIDS. But, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but you know what? I'm at the point where I give no f***. So, anyway, back to me. The idea that we just have to listen up to Black people and do whatever they say because they're Black is not giving anti-racist, babe. It's giving racist. It's giving woke KKK, by the way. I just want you to know that because there's so many problems with it. But if a Black person makes an allegation or an assertion, that assertion is either true or false. It's either supported by points and logic and claims, or it's not. But the color of their skin doesn't like make it more or less correct. You genuinely sound like your perspective would have a lot in common with that of a Klansman, who also similarly think that people's skin pigment or racial background determines the validity of their perspective and being. I don't think that. And the other big problem with this is that it assumes there's some kind of homogenous mind meld among Black people, because I promise you right now, I could show these Taylor Swift lyrics to probably 90% of Black women and ask them is this a microaggression? And their response would be, well, first their response would be, WTF is a microaggression. I've never heard of that. I got bills to pay. I have a job. But then if I explained it to them and then asked them, is this a microaggression? They would look at me like I'm crazy. And are we supposed to listen to those Black women, or are we supposed to listen to the TikTok yapping Black women who are claiming this is a microaggression? Because the idea that you can just, well, we need to listen to POC. What do you think? That they all get together at the barbecue and decide whether something's a microaggression or not? Like, no, a lot of them have different opinions, and they're either wrong or right based on the merits of that opinion, not because they check off some box. And if your message to white people is that they just need to shut up and listen to Black people and whatever they say because you're white, so you don't get an opinion, you're just going to create a lot of racist people, actually. Like, you're actually just going to help farm more fans for Nick Fuentes. I don't know how to tell you that what you're doing is not constructive or productive. It is deeply inflammatory and divisive. But why? So why do they do it, right? It's because there is a certain woke echo chamber where they are rewarded. They are applauded for this as you're thanks, Queen. We love an ally. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sticking up, for listening to POC. So it's this self-serving thing that they do for attaboys, but then they don't seem to realize how insulting, actually racist, and just like destructive and inflammatory it is. Other than that, though, the woke Swifties seem lovely. Like, I'm sorry. I'm, once again, hashtag not all Swifties. But some of these people are the most, like, among the most deranged and toxic people I've seen on the internet. And if you are not new here, if you've been listening to the Brad versus Everyone podcast, you know that I do not say that lightly and that there is a lot of competition. What do you guys think? Can you even believe this is a controversy at all? I honestly can't, but here we are. Here we are. This is what my career has come to. Anyway, like, comment, yada yada. Send me some will to live. Up next, we're going to check in with everybody's favorite far left congresswoman and also social media influencer of sorts, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. because she just posted kind of a bizarre, kind of grovelly video on Instagram, apologizing sort of for something that she said during an Instagram live. She's been trashing the White House advisor, Stephen Miller, who is an extremely controversial and I think pretty radical figure. But she decided to go after his height, which we'll talk about. It doesn't even really make sense. In an Instagram live, she started roasting him for being short. And now apparently that was problematic. And she's explaining why she is sorry for body shame. I'm not. Oh my gosh. Anyway, here's that original AOC video.
Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10". And he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10". And he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. Yes, they are dangerous.
So this is just weird. This original little rant was weird. Maybe she's trying to be funny. I don't know. She's trying to like roast him or eat him up or whatever. And I'm guilty of this on occasion. But I will just say that like making fun of someone's looks or taking shots at their physical appearance is like non-responsive. It doesn't actually make any. Stephen Miller, let's say that he was 4'2" or whatever. That doesn't make him wrong about anything. And it's not a very good or persuasive critique of someone. I also find height of all things is a strange thing to go after people for, or to criticize people for, or to judge them based on, because it's literally not a choice. There's nothing you can, if you're going to roast somebody for like having terrible style or not taking care of themselves and being like morbidly body positive or whatever. I mean, even then, I would rather talk about the substance of what they're saying. But yeah, it can be tempting to engage in that a little bit sometimes. But at least then you're like roasting them for aspects of their appearance or their body they have some control over, just like roasting short people. And I guess I say this also as somebody who was just, I'm tall. I'm 6'3" or 6'4". And I don't know, it just kind of lame. Like, I don't get the point of this. What is the point of this? What are we supposed to conclude about Stephen Miller on the basis of the fact that he is short? And the funny thing is he's not actually short. He's actually, I think, above average height for a man. So it's just like a very weird and stupid thing, but she's just popping off on an Instagram live. I did find it funny that they made Stephen Miller respond to this live on Fox News. That was kind of hilarious to me. Like, they played this clip and made him react, which I just found that funny. Of all the things, you've got the White House advisor, a top White House advisor behind lots of Trump's most controversial policies. You're like, I want to get your thoughts on this AOC Instagram video where she called you short. Kind of comical, but not, just very unserious and doesn't really make any points. But this is kind of where our politics is at. But what's so funny to me, and I can't quite decide, you guys will have to let me know if you think in the comments, if this is at least slightly meant tongue-in-cheek or if she's dead ass about this, but AOC appears to have gotten some pushback for like body shaming short kings or something. And so now she wants to apologize and explain what she meant. So the journalist Glenn Greenwald shared this and wrote, after facing backlash over her body shaming of Stephen Miller for his height, AOC proclaims her love and support for the short king community. She then explains her theory of height. Let's listen to this.
I want to express my love for the short king community. I don't believe in body shaming. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside. Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is. No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3", like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across, they are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you stand with women, if you're not belittling immigrants, you're like, 6'3" spiritually. I don't know. Am I being problematic?
So, is she being serious right now? Like, is she trolling us? Or is I can't quite tell if she's poking fun, so I'm not going to treat this too seriously. But this is so incoherent with this idea that, well, I meant that he's spiritually 5'3" or whatever. What does that even mean? And it still all plays into the kind of silly idea that, like, being taller means you're better, and being short is somehow like some kind of failing or whatever, which just doesn't, again, makes no sense. It's like saying brunettes are inferior to blondes. It's just not a meaningful characteristic of human life to draw conclusions about people of. And I don't know, like, is she a couple glasses of wine deep in this? Because listen, me and Clarkson did a drunk live stream. We're our members on the Normal Gaze channel, so I can't judge. Although I am not a congresswoman, I am a YouTuber. So there's that. But this just all seemed incoherent to me. And to the extent that she is actually responding to unironic backlash she received for body shaming, that is hilarious, because simultaneously it can be true that her comments are dumb and make no sense, and also that anyone offended by them desperately needs a hobby, because it is not that deep. It is really not that significant. And you can actually just move along. Like, oh no, show me on the doll where the body shaming hurt you. Like, especially if you're not even Stephen Miller, you're just some short person out there and you're offended. Like, get a grip and maybe some shoe implants. I don't know what to tell you, but to me, it's irrelevant whether you're short or tall. But I just found this whole thing kind of funny, honestly. So I wanted to share it with all of y'all. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the like button, yada, yada, yada.